Alright, everyone. Time for the summer major. Not too much different from a regular tournament, but you do get a little bit different banner and a little bit different kingmakers if you win those for this tournament. There's a new ball for this tournament called the Shell Ball. 2 wind resistance, 2 side spin, and 4 power. It's basically a Titan with 1 more power, so a little bit useful, but I think the Origin ball a couple tournaments ago with 1 less wind resistance and 1 more side spin was probably a little bit more useful ball for tournaments. But if you just want to pick these up because they look cool, maybe pick up 10 of them or something, but I don't think they're super useful tournament balls or anything like that. So summer major tournament, this is going to be a pretty interesting course. Going to be pretty difficult for the most part, I think. So my goal is just going to be to shoot 12 under today, try to eagle all the par 5s, and maybe 13 under, try to see if I can get number 7 as well. For the first hole, I think I'm going to try to go with quarterback and Viper, and we'll see if a Quasar ball is enough or not. I may need to move up to a Titan. Looks like we got a couple people that have shot -10, and no one really on pace to do any better than that, so I think -12 would be a pretty good score for a qualifying round, -12 or 13. See if we can't get an opponent. So really for this first hole, the main thing that I'm going for is to try to make it down to the low spot on the left. You can sort of see it down in the shadow of this rock. Sort of right around here is where I'm trying to get to. Let's see if a Quasar is enough. So I think a Quasar is enough ball. I am gonna overpower it just a little bit, but with a quarterback, that's not too big of a deal. Even if you miss and hit a great ball, should still end up pretty good for the most part. And like I said, just trying to make it down here to this little low spot on the left side of the fairway to set ourselves up for the second shot. I would recommend a ball with at least level 2 side spin on this hole, so either like a Quasar or a Titan. I'm gonna do the rough bump for the next shot, and with the angle that we're coming in at, you need at least, I think, roughly 3 side spin, 3 bars of side spin to get the ball over and tracking towards the hole. So recommend at least a side spin 2 ball at the very least. On the second shot as well, I think most people have found that it plays about 70% of wind. So I'm going to set up something like this. And then 70% of the wind is going to be about 2.5 or so. And my Viper is 1.9 per ring, so I'm going to go just a little bit over a ring. And see if that 70% wind adjustment is very close or not. Not too bad. If you have a sniper, it'd probably be really useful for this hole because you'll have a little bit better ball guide. My ball guide wasn't indicating that I was going to roll way past the hole, but as you can see, I did roll quite a bit past there. As you can see, or if you play over to the right, you got a little bit trickier shot. And you got to deal with a big elevation change as well. As you can see, he's hitting from way above the hole, so he's probably going to play. Whereas we were playing 70% of the wind, he was probably playing 50% more wind. So pretty nice shot there, though. It's nothing too fancy on the chip there. But I think birdie's a pretty good score on that hole. As you can see, we had a chance of making the eagle, but didn't take too many risks in getting our birdie there. With the quarterback, we had a pretty easy shot into the middle of the fairway, and then with the Viper, we were able to give ourselves a chance at eagle, but take the easy birdie. I am going to play the shootouts on this account because I do have a pretty good win percentage going so far, so try to keep that going if I can. So, I got the difficult par 3 first. It's going to be a really tricky hole. So, I'll probably play about 20% extra wind. So I'll probably play this pretty close to 2 rings. That's not bad right there. This hole, I haven't played any Tour 5 holes for this tournament, so I haven't played from the first tees yet, but I know this hole's been giving people a lot of trouble. We'll see how our opponent shot goes, but the hole kind of sits on top of a hill, so if you end up very far right or left of the hole, you're going to roll down into the rough on the right or the left, or maybe even the bunker. So, unfortunately, our opponent didn't hit a very good shot, so we couldn't get another look at it, but looks like our adjustment's pretty good for when we get to that hole. So, hole number 2 is going to be the first par 3. And what I'm going to recommend on this hole is to play a pretty simple shot with the Guardian. Like I said, I haven't played this hole yet on Tour 5, but I believe you should almost be able to land the Guardian on the green. And by doing that, you sort of take all the trouble out of play. But we'll see. So set up something like that. Our Guardian's 1.7 per ring, so I'm going to try to go 2.5 rings if possible. Looks like we got just enough for that. And see if that gets any close at all. Probably need to take off a little bit of backspin if I was guessing. Ooh. Yeah, need to take off quite a bit of backspin because we're hitting into a headwind right there. So maybe take off 2, maybe 3 backspin from there, and you set yourself up pretty close to the hole. Like I said though, I like that shot because you don't have to deal with avoiding any rough or anything like that, so it's pretty much just a point and shoot type of hole if you bring the Guardian. Pretty nice shot there. He only had 3 backspin on his, so I'm thinking about 5 backspin is probably where you need to be on that hole. I think I used about 7 or 8. But we will take the birdie there. And the next time I play this hole, I will back off on the backspin just a little bit, see if I can't get a little bit closer to making the hole-in-one. All 3 par 3s on this course are pretty difficult though, so I'm not really expecting to make a hole-in-one on any of these. But would obviously gladly take one if I was able to get one. So we'll see which of the 2 shootouts we get here. Okay, so this is the one with the big elevation change. I'm thinking I'm gonna go 3.5 there. And over adjust just a little bit on the wind. I played about 3 rings when I would usually play 2. And see if that's enough or not. That's not looking too bad. Like I said, these par 3s are insanely difficult. On the Tour 10 holes, I've been playing roughly 50% extra wind. So that's about what I played right there as well from the Tour 5 tee box. So your chances of making a hole-in-one on this hole are super, super slim. So there's really no need to try to get too aggressive, in my opinion. Really, if you can hit the green or hit the fringe or fairway, I think that's all I'm really looking to do on this hole. Get my birdie and get out. So we'll move on to hole number 3, which will be the first par 5. These par 5s are going to be pretty difficult in the rookie division because you really can't advance the ball much farther than you can on pro and expert tees, but you still have to hit the same distance of second shots, so definitely we'll be using a Titan on all 3 par 5s. I'm thinking I'm probably going to stick with the quarterback on the drive and go with the big dog on the second shot. I think my goal is to use the right side on the tee shot, but quarterback may not quite be enough club to do that, so we'll have to see. Come on. Yeah, it's just a bad angle, really. So, I'm going to aim full right spin, full top spin, and aim kind of right there. And what that should do is it should kind of funnel. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, so you gotta be kind of careful because you can see that patch of rough right there, but you just really want it to funnel towards the right side of this fairway like that. So you could see how I kind of aimed on the right side of the fairway there, and then played just a little bit of right curl. So, playing these holes on Tour 10, that's kind of what I've seen. If you play it on the right side with a little bit of right curl and right spin, it generally funnels towards the fairway. So, I think it's a pretty safe shot, but you can definitely see how it could get tricky. So for the second shot, sort of similar to the last hole, I'm going to play at about 50% extra wind. And going to play about 3 top spin and 2 right spin. So 2.5 per ring. I'm going to play about 2.5 rings there. Which is about a 6 mile-an-hour wind adjustment for me. And as you can see, 3 topspin isn't quite enough. So, I think I have 4 topspin available on my Big Dog 3. So, looks like I can use all 4 of those bars without too much worry of going long. And it also looks like the 2 right spin weren't even really necessary either, so I'll make those notes and make those adjustments for the opening round. So we'll see if we can't make our chip shot here. Aim for kind of the right side of the cup to account for the wind. Ooh, just snuck it in there. If you have a rapier or an Embringer, both of those are definitely better wedges than the skewer, but I wanted to keep kind of low-level clubs for this guy, just in case you guys don't have either one of those 2 clubs. But as you can see, with the skewer, you really do need to hit perfect ball, or else you run the risk of missing the hole with a great ball. So our opponent's gonna miss this one out to the left. A little bit unlucky that his drive didn't go farther than it did, but move on to hole number 4. So hole number 4, I think I'm going to switch over to the extra mile. There's really not too much of an emphasis on accuracy on this drive. For the second shot, you're gonna want top spin. So Big Dog gives us 48 top spin, and Goliath has 90. So we're pretty good on both of those. I may. Let's see. So we got 71 backspin on the Saturn. So I may actually go that route. Trying to think. So if you use a Titan ball, I think you can use the Saturn for the backspin shot. So I think that's what I'm going to try to go for. This hole has a pretty shallow green, so you're not going to really be able to stop a regular iron like a Backbone or Goliath or anything like that on the green. You're going to need a club with a lot of backspin like Saturn, or there's a couple other options, and once I get a look at it, I'll kind of make a decision on which one of those I think is the best option. But so I definitely would not recommend laying up in this first fairway. You absolutely want to make it to the second fairway. But I think with an extra mile on a Titan or even a Quasar, you should be able to pretty easily make it to the second fairway. Well, maybe not. So yeah, you may need a Titan for this hole. So I'm going to do something like that right there, where I just land on that second fairway. And I wouldn't get too aggressive, but you do want to be on the left side of this fairway to have a little bit better angle towards the green on your second shot. It's not the end of the world if you end up on the right side, though. But like I said, the left side just gives you a little bit better angle. So as you can see, by lining up, our opponent can't reach the hole. So something to definitely be aware of. You definitely want to make it to the second fairway at the very least. So let's see what we have for our second shot here. Looks like we're just barely in Saturn range. So like I said, I wouldn't get too aggressive. So I'm going to aim kind of right there and play about 1.5 rings. And see how that works out for us. So that's not too bad right there. As you can see, with max backspin on the Saturn, I still had to kind of bump it into that hill just a little bit to get it to stop on the green. So it's just kind of a really shallow green from front to back. But I do think that's the safest shot to play right there. A little bit unlucky right there. So, move on to hole number 5. Ooh, gotta pay a little more attention to those putts, but hole number 5 is going to be the second par 5. So, like I said, definitely want to bring Titan balls and probably the big dog as well. On this one, I'm not really sure about the drive, so I'm going to stick with extra mile. I am thinking that quarterback could probably make it. So let's see which one has more top spin. Yeah, so I would go with extra mile. It has a little more top spin, make the second shot a little bit easier. As you can see, this is another very difficult par 5. I think that's the main characteristic of this course, and I think that's why it's a major course, is because there's just nothing easy. If you want to make your eagles and you want to make your birdies, you really got to execute your shots. So with extra mile 5, I think I can go full top spin, and really no overpower on the drive, which is nice. And I'm thinking I should still come up short of the rough down there at the end, hopefully. But you do want to get as far down here as you can, and you can see that's kind of perfect right there. That's going to make our second shot a lot easier. So I definitely like that combination right there with a Titan and an extra mile and full top spin. If you have an extra mile 6, you will need to adjust just a little bit. And as you can see from our opponent's shot, even with the quarterback, you can make it to the second fairway down here. It's just the lack of top spin on the drive is kind of what concerned me about using the quarterback there. So let's see if we can stop this. I don't think so. So we are going to have to play this little hop shot. So I'm going to try it out with no spin. Just kind of see how it works out. And at 2.5 per ring, I'll go about a ring and a half. And it looks like no spin is pretty good. Pretty good for that shot there, for the little hop shot. And really, if you can land where I landed on the drive, you don't even need to bring the big dog. You can bring a Viper or something a little more accurate, so you don't got to worry about hitting the bunker if you hit a great ball. So, coming into the hole, I thought the big dog was necessary, but I don't really think so after seeing that shot. So we'll take our eagle here. We're still on pace for 12 under. which is where we want to be. I think 24 under for this tournament is going to be a really good score. I wouldn't say this course is as hard as the New York tournament. I'm trying to think. I think in rookie, I think 22 or 23 under won a lot of the New York tournament brackets. But I could definitely see 24 under winning some rookie brackets in this tournament just because there's a lot of places that you could potentially mess up on this course. So we'll move on to hole number 6. Based on playing this in a shootout earlier, I think I'm going to go with Guardian. Guardian and probably a Quasar. I believe I was using a Navigator when I played it in a shootout, and it just didn't quite have enough side spin, so give ourselves a little bit more help in that direction. If we do happen to have a really stiff headwind, we may need to move up to probably just like a Katana. I wouldn't necessarily use a Titan, I don't think, but as you can see, we are downwind. So our wind is going to be about 3.5, and like I said, I played about 50% extra, so I'm going to play it at about 5.1 maybe, and 5.1 for my Guardian level 3 is going to be 3 rings, so that'll be my plan, is to set everything up and then play about 3 rings. So, I think I'm going to go with, what is that, 6 backspin? And then maybe 3.5 rings. Got a little more wind than I was expecting. Do get perfect ball, so we'll see if that's enough to stop it on the green or not. Looks like that'll be alright. So, as I said, when I played this hole in the shootout, and as you can see from our opponent's shot, just making a birdie is a great score on this hole. If you make a hole-in-one on this hole, you should feel very fortunate, because to me this hole just seems like a complete crapshoot as far as how to make a hole-in-one. There's just so much going on between when you hit the ball and when the ball lands, so nice save right there by our opponent. We'll take our birdie as well. And hopefully we'll get hole number 8 in the shootout. I would like to get one more crack at that one before we play it for real. And we do get it, so what I'd kind of like to do right here is see if maybe with like a Titan ball or something, if we could land it almost on the green, and play it that way. I think if we could do that, that'd probably be the safest way to play it with a Guardian on this hole. I think if you have a lot of backspin, I think maybe, so you can see how our opponent's ball funnels. Ooh, he does stay on the fairway. So that's the big worry when you actually play this hole for real, as everything funnels away. So it looks like we can land it just short of the green. And then playing 20% extra wind, so I will play this 3 rings. Played about 5 on the wind. Well, Great Ball's not gonna do us any favors there, so we'll see if we can stay on the green or not. Not quite. But as you can see with all the backspin that we have on the Guardian, we are able to keep it on the fairway, which is super important. So now we move on to what I think is probably the most interesting hole in Rookie. I believe we can probably drive the green. And if that's the case, I'm going to put on a Katana. May need to switch to a Kingmaker. But basically what I'm going to do right here, my plan, is to play a big slice shot with the extra mile. And when you play a slice or a hook, you want to account for about 30 miles an hour of wind. So as you can see with 29 accuracy, my extra mile here is about 2.4 per ring. So in order to account for 30 miles an hour of wind, I need to adjust 13 rings. So, like I said, I'm going to go with the Katana. I may need to move up to a Kingmaker, but we'll give this a shot and see. But I am thinking, unless they give us a direct headwind, and maybe even in a direct headwind, I think we can reach the green on this hole, or get close. So, and as you can see, we're downwind, so I definitely feel really good about this shot now. And the good news about this shot is as long as you make a decent adjustment, at very worst, you're going to end up in the rough with an easy chip for birdie. You'll obviously have a chip for eagle, but you should easily be able to make the birdie. So we will see right here if a Katana is enough ball or not. With an extra mile 5. Not quite. So we will go with the Kingmaker here. I'm going to go full backspin, full right spin. This is going to be close. I'm going to go with the Titan. Give ourselves a little bit more wind. But like I said, I'm going to adjust 13 rings. So if you look at the far left edge of my left ring, I'm going to put my right ring over there, and then adjust 3 more rings from there. So something like that. And full slice shot, and we'll see. I don't know if it's quite going to make it or not. Just did. So, as you can see, we're able to get up there pretty nicely to the green. Yeah, I really wish I had an extra mile 6, because I'd have a little bit more backspin and a little more distance. So I'd be able to use a Kingmaker on that shot and get a little more side spin as well, but no complaints there. We have a really easy eagle opportunity, so if I can get that both times on the weekend, I'd be super happy about that. So, ooh, our opponent almost made the eagle from the rough. So I'm going to do kind of the same thing I did earlier. I'm just going to kind of aim on the right edge of the cup and try to hit perfect ball. And did get it that time, so I think that should go in. Yep. So that's the nice thing about the winds in Rookie, is they're not too big. So even if you don't have the best ball guide on your wedge, you can kind of just generally aim on the right edge of the cup for shorter chips like that, or maybe just outside of the hole for longer chips. So moving on to hole number 8. So like I said, I think I'm gonna go full Guardian backspin shot on this one. Maybe not full backspin, but pretty close. I think I'm gonna go with a Navigator here. I don't think we need a Titan or anything crazy like that, especially if they give us tailwind. But really the only goal here is to hit perfect ball. If you get your perfect ball in this hole, as long as you set everything up reasonably correct, I don't think you'll land in the rough. So we do have a tailwind here, so I think this should be a pretty easy shot. It's going to be all about hitting perfect ball. Okay. So like I said, play about 20% extra wind here because it's a little bit downhill. And then I think it's a little bit more flat down here, so this is where I like landing. I'm going to go about 6 backspin. And then playing this at about 2.8 on the wind, I'll go about a ring and a half. And did get perfect ball that time, so I think we should land on the green. Perfect. So that's all I'm really looking for right there. Maybe take off 1 backspin next time I play it and see if I can't at least give myself a chance at the hole-in-one. But like I said, I'll take birdie on this hole every single time. So we will move on to hole number 9. Hole number 9 is going to be pretty interesting. I think what I'm going to try to do for hole number 9 is use the Guardian on the second shot with full backspin. I'm kind of concerned that maybe that won't reach though. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go quarterback on the drive and go with a Titan ball. And so I'm going with quarterback here because I want to get absolutely as aggressive as I possibly can on the drive. Because if I get super far down there on the drive, I'm thinking I can make it to the green with a Guardian on the second shot. So that's my plan, but we'll have to see how things actually play out. If you're going to play over to the left, I definitely recommend bringing your big dog. Because playing from the left side, pretty much the only chance you have of making the green will be to probably max overpower your big dog on your second shot. So So like I said, I brought the quarterback on this hole just to be a little more accurate on the drive, because I want to get as absolutely far down here as I can. So I'm thinking I'm going to set up full right spin and 1 backspin. And then adjust my 4.5 rings. And then go a little bit of right curl. And see if that can't get us really aggressively down there without... So that's not bad. A few extra yards would have been nice, but I mean that's about as aggressive as I think you want to get on the drive. Otherwise you might end up in the rough, and then your chance of making the eagle from the rough is pretty much 0. Well, we definitely need to try to make eagle here and save our opponent, because he's not even going to be able to make birdie. So as you can see, with max over power, we can just barely make it to the green. So that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with max over power, and a little bit of curl back to the right. Oops. And run the green. So that works out pretty perfectly. I think with Guardian 3 I only have 166 yards, so if you have a Guardian 4 you won't have to sweat it quite as much as I did right there, but it looks like a pretty easy eagle to make if you go with that quarterback and Guardian combo with a Titan. So there you go, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Got the 3 par 5s as well as that drivable par 4 number 7. So pretty happy with that qualifying round. Couldn't really ask for much more than that. If I can repeat that twice on the weekend round for 26, I'm pretty sure that'll win. So pretty happy with that. So hope you guys can find some useful shots on this and shoot some 12 or 13 unders as well. So good luck.